at like 17, 18, like this lady comes up to me and she was a missionary and she's like, you know, I can change you. You know, so I went to this like, I guess, we call it conversion therapy because that's what they tried to do, but they sucked because it didn't happen. So, I mean, it didn't happen. And I laugh about it now, but I mean, it caused a lot of pain. It caused a serious amount of pain, you know. So when I was 18, though, she kind of let the cat out of the bag and told everybody that I was like gay and stuff, and so I could no longer play in my church anymore. And everything that I loved so much, or at least that kept me alive for the time being and kept me somewhat happy, was like taken away from me. So I kind of gave him a big like finger and decided to go do my own thing. And when I started doing my own thing, that meant everything was like a free-for-all. I tried a lot of things. I got into drugs, I got into drinking, you know, I did a little too much of it. And, you know, I started to express my gender, or what I thought my gender was. But I never knew the words transgender, and I only knew myself as a gay person at the time being. So I was extremely masculine, right? So I had the wallet, and like I dress how I dress right now, except I had long hair down to my ass, and I had earrings, and sometimes I dye my hair blue, you know, just for shock value. Oh, and I started working out, possibly when I was 22. I didn't really get serious until I got 25 years old. But the gym was always like a way for me to get away from girlfriends that were crazy. I had a few of those. The gym became a way for me to kind of express gender, and like, you know, it was cool, but it was also dangerous because guys, when you can outlift them, get really pissed off. And so I started working as a trainer, possibly when I was like 25, 26 years old. I was working up at Bally's, and I was pretty successful. And I had this like habit of always talking to my best friend every morning. So I've always had the habit of waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning. That's just who I am. I don't know, I don't like to sleep, I guess. And so I'm on my way to work and I'm talking to my best friend over the phone, and she's like, you know what, I think you're super weird. This is my best friend talking to me. And either intersex or transgender. And I was like, what the hell is that? You know, thank God for the internet at that time, because I didn't have to go to the library and spend my time looking for this information. I just went on the internet. And I saw all these like people who had my story. I was like, wait, I feel like that. And I get kicked out of bathrooms, and people treat me all weird. And men are like, I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours on my weird experiences, okay? But long story short, I decided to go see a therapist. But not just any therapist, because you can't see any therapist when you're trans. You gotta find one that like isn't gonna try to convince you otherwise. I wanted a neutral therapist. So of course I didn't go to a Christian one, right? So, okay, I went to a therapist, and my therapist was like, well, intersex is someone who was born with this, you know, the same, what? That, what she just said. There we go. And transgender is someone who just doesn't identify with their own body. So I went and I swallowed that pill. And that wasn't an easy pill, because all the narratives that I had read about transgender people to that time sucked. Like, I was like, man, I'm never gonna find a girlfriend again, or like, no one's gonna love me, and I was like, I'm gonna end up like, what am I gonna do about work, and blah 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 blah. And then I told myself, I'm like, you know what, you're a fucking fighter, dude. Like, you've been through so much shit, whatever, right? So I went the next day, and I was like, well, let's start my transition. What do I have to do? And she was like, oh, well, you know, you can start your hormone treatment, and we started exploring all these things. But now I had to drop the ever so loving bomb on my parents about this. It was one thing being gay, we had the whole like fight about it, and we went through all these things, and they were finally accepting that, and now I'm going to drop another bomb. So I decided not to tell them myself without like reinforcement. So I took them to a therapy session, because I didn't have the language, and like there's so much about being trans I know, and I hadn't done enough research, and I figured, well, the therapist would have any answers to the questions. So I took them to the therapy session. My mom cried her ass off, and my dad was like, I've known since you were 4 years old. And I was really mad at him for that. And so we got over it. We got over it. And about a year later, my mom started calling me Tommy, right? Okay, so how I did that was really easy. I was dating a girl who had kids. And so I just said, you can't call me anything but this name in front of the kids. So that's how I did that. It really wasn't because she wanted to. She just couldn't, she just had to get used to it. Like, I was slick about that. You gotta be slick about things sometimes. And my dad, it's true. And my dad was like pretty much accepting. Just worried, like really worried, because like I said, the narrative around trans people was that I was gonna be homeless, and I wasn't gonna find someone to love me, and I was gonna commit suicide. That was a narrative around every trans story, or I was gonna get killed violently by some person who just had to stick up their butt. That's basically what the story was, right? And so, fast forward, I am the lead trainer of a 5-class gym. I have won 3 bodybuilding contests. I have a private personal training practice. I have a girlfriend. She loves me. I think so. And yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
For Tommy that you'd like to know? Yeah.
Okay, for me, my best friend recently came out to me as transgender, and like we've been best friends since elementary school. So for me, it's kind of hard, but like I get it, like cause he's always been her until now, and for me, it's like I have the days where I mess up and I'm like, oh, how are you doing? Like, what's up, girlfriend? And I don't mean to, but like, how would you, I accept him, but how would you, as a best friend, come and support? I support him no matter what, but what would you do?
Did you buy my wallet?
Huh?
I had to acknowledge very much that my transition included everyone transitioning along with me. So by the time I was 30, really was when everything kind of came together. So I had to have patience with everybody else. Like my best friend, like the girl I was talking about, she's been best friends. We were she was 14, and we were together from 14 years old to she was 18, I believe, when we broke up, and then we just stayed really good friends, right? So for I don't know how many years, right? She had to call me she, and even though I was very masculine, it was still she. And so all of a sudden, in 2 weeks or 2 days or a year, I'm just gonna get it right. My mom to this very day gets it. Sometimes she slips up, and I just laugh. She's like, and I look at everybody else's reaction to see if somebody else thinks it looks crazy, right? Because of how I look. So I think the more that person gets comfortable with who they are, the more they're gonna get comfortable with your mistakes. And just be like, hey, I didn't mean to do that. I know that. Just give me some time. At the end of the day, they're gonna have to give you time. And there's going to be changes. There's going to be a lot of changes, and you're going to have to change with them. But people either grow with you or they grow apart. And that's how I look at things.
Okay, yeah. And just to add on to that, I do this for a living, and I sometimes mess up. So really, just saying, oh, I'm sorry. I'm working on this. So that really opens up that space. And Tommy, I don't know if this might work for you, but I know that for people, if you say, oh wow, I'm so sorry, I messed up. I'm really working on this. Make sure to say he next
time.
Actually,
when you tell me I'm sorry, I tell you to be quiet.
We have this interesting relationship, but
yeah.
But by simply just saying, give yourself that space that you yourself too are transitioning through this. So,
yes.
Great question.
Okay, so
I'm slightly deaf, so you have to speak really loud.
Okay, so it's really personal, but I'm attracted to females, to male. But I'm a lesbian, that's what I identify. But I'm not attracted to males to female. So I don't know exactly what that means.
How about just saying you're pansexual and not even
I don't like that.
No? I mean, as a trans guy, that tells me that you're still not you're thinking of me as a man with a certain body part that you're attracted to. So for me, personally, Tommy, I can't speak for anybody else in my community. I would never date you, because you're still attracted to that the genitalia part, So you're gonna have to figure out some way to marry that. You know what I'm saying? Within yourself. I think sexuality is a very fluid thing, for me. When I was going through my transition, I had to come to terms with some things about my sexuality, but they're very, very distinct things, But I personally, when I was before I transitioned, I dated strictly only girls, right? And then I transitioned, and then I became fluid, So I date whoever I want to date. That's it. I don't care what community you think I belong to. It's GLTBT, blah 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 blah, go on and so forth. So I am not bound by my identity at all. My identity is simply Tommy's this, and he could be this tomorrow, and then tomorrow I might change my mind. You know, I don't like, this is 100% personal, what I'm telling you right now. It does not represent my community at all. But when I'm dating someone, they gotta date all of me. All of me. And I'm all masculine. And they have to be really comfortable with that. If not, I gotta let you go through whatever journey you have to go through. You know what I'm saying? I personally will date trans women. I haven't dated a trans guy yet, but I'm not throwing that out of the equation. Men, whatever. To me, I just want to date you. Not you, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and just to add on that, you know, we do have, you know, this thought of like, wow, you know, I used this term for so long, so now what does that say about me? So really also that's an area where you gotta give yourself that space, you know, because if that is the term that suits you, then so be it. You know, and then of course when it comes down to the experiences and who you're attracted to, orientation is really simply who you're attracted to. You know, and you discover that for yourselves with whatever term you would like to use for yourself, whether you stay with the term that associates more with you, or at one point or another it changes. So give yourself that space as well. Does that kind of like answer it a little bit for you? Because there isn't like a cookie cutter answer as to like, oh my god, because you like this, then you're this. There's so many variety of different experiences. So, yeah. Who else?
I'm just going to interject for a second because I know we're almost out of time and I know classes are about to change, so some people need to take off their classes. Please, before you leave, make sure you fill out evaluation. If you were here for a class other than mine, make sure that you sign out, or if you're getting credit, make sure you sign out. But we definitely, you know, want to thank the Yes Institute for being here. I do want to give it back to you so you can wrap up and do what you need to do.
And we have some post-evaluations as well, so if you can take a moment to fill those out, that would be great. So really, any other questions? Allison, maybe you can come up as well. For Allison, Tommy, myself, and then I also want to leave you with a few tidbits. All right, so I know that some of you are gone, and Tommy, if you don't mind staying here for a little bit, as well as Allison. So thank you both for sharing.
Let's thank them. Let's thank the Yes Institute.
I want to just go ahead and leave you with a few things. So really, if you see this conversation valuable, and you would like to take it to another community, you know, somewhere where you know, a class or a community that you're a part of, you can just give us a call and we'll make that happen, and we'll gear it towards the audience as well. We have many courses, Communication Solutions, 2-day course, really, really powerful. Provides you with those tools on how to have conversations with people who may not see eye to eye with us. You know, because how many of us have someone in our lives that we can think of that we disagree with? Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this course really provides you with the tools on how to have those relationships, even if you may not see eye to eye. Our educational courses, we have a whole curriculum, 8 hours on gender, orientation, bullying, really diving more into this conversation. We just like surface the topic today. Volunteer speaking and internship opportunities. So if you yourself have a journey and would like to share how you've been impacted by gender or orientation, you can do very similar to what Tommy and Allison had done. You know, you're more than welcome to, and we can talk a little bit more about that, how you can get involved. Internships, if you all need to do in-service hours, internships for your major, you can always do that with us. Our intern application is still open because, you know, the storm, we had to push things back a little bit. So you can go online, fill out an application, and we can help you out with that. And really your internship is geared around your interests and what you want to bring to the team. Also, we're on social media. Follow us, Instagram, Facebook. We're always looking for more and more followers. So, and also we're a nonprofit organization. So for many of you, how many spent $25 a week? Maybe you go to the movies, or you go have dinner, right? So for as low as $25, you can contribute to this work and make this education available to families, to youth, really anybody in the community. Also, if on Thursday, it's tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm lost in my days already. But tomorrow we have our professional society event down at Tavern, 6 to 9. If you're 21, there's happy hour specials. Everyone else, there's juice or Coke. All right. But really, a great opportunity to network with other professionals. You know, mingle, get to know more about the work of Yes Institute, and just really have an awesome time night out. So 6 p.m. Thursday, tomorrow, Sunset Tavern. And we have some flyers in the back if you want to take some. So, yeah. So really, these are our upcoming courses. If you're interested, we also have some registration forms in the back. We can get you registered. There is typically a fee for the courses, but we also provide scholarships if you can't meet, you know, the full payment. So, thank you all. I hope you all enjoyed it. Really had a great time with you, and thanks.
Let's thank Yes Institute for being here. Awesome. Y'all, if I know you're filling out the Yes Institute evaluations, but we also have our usual half sheet evaluation. If you can fill that out for us. Yeah. Yeah.
Where do I put it?
That one you can give to the Yes Institute folks. Once they fill it out, can they give it to you? Can they give it to you? And then Sharice has our evaluations here. Richard, do you have anything?
No, thank you so much. Yes.